Hello and welcome back to episode 13 of Pat's Picks. Today we're going to be talking about the Rangers versus Carolina Hurricanes, Game 5 in New York. Rangers have another opportunity to close out the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. And then in the later game, we have Dallas versus Colorado. Dallas can really put a clamp on the series if they pull off another road victory. Colorado feels like a must-win because it really seems unlikely that they'd be able to beat Dallas 3 games in a row. So some good games. Before I go over my picks from last night, which I went 3-3 in, and before I go over my picks for tonight, I just want to remind you that if you could like the video, subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. Grow the channel, grow the community. If you want to share your picks tonight, what you think game winners will be, like who's going to win which games, who's going to score, any predictions you have, that'd be cool so I could discuss it in the comments. But let's get into it. Let's talk about last night. I went 3 for 3. 1 for 2 on my bets in the Florida-Boston game. 2 for 3 on my bets in the Oilers game. Lost $15 on the day, as you can see. This is mainly due to the fact that the bet I thought was the most likely to hit, which I put $40 on, the Edmonton Oilers over 3.5, did not hit. And not from a lack of effort. They put up over 40 shots through 3 periods. Plenty of scoring chances. Easily could have hit this one. But Arturs Chivos, young goaltender for the Canucks, played a very good game. And surprisingly, Vancouver got the win. Not only did this not hit, Vancouver won as well, which I was not expecting. I didn't bet Edmonton outright, though, because there wasn't a ton of value. And to be honest, I was kind of looking at the plus 1.5 for Vancouver at minus 140. And I think retrospectively that should have been the play, just because Vancouver, I think, is a little more legit than a lot of bettors and the casuals are giving them credit for. But regardless, Montour didn't hit his point. I said I was going to jinx him. He scored in game 1 when I bet. He didn't score in game 1 when I bet on his point total. He then followed that up with a 2 and 3 point game in games 2 and 3. I go back to the well in game 4 and he doesn't hit again. So really just some bad luck with Brandon Montour. I've had a lot of bad luck with Andrei Svechnikov either. Just picking and choosing the wrong games to bet on these guys, where if like you flip a coin the other way, I'm probably up money on both of them, but those two guys are giving me fits. Panthers couldn't capitalize on the empty net. So as you can see with these 3 losses, they're not bad losses. It just kind of stings a little when they don't go your way sometimes. Draisaitl hit over 1.5 points. Good game from him yesterday. Oilers first to 5 shots. Panthers first to 5 shots. One thing that I'm starting to realize, it's easier to predict game flow than it is to predict results, which is why these first to 5 shots bets, I've hit 4 straight of them. You're going to see more tonight just because it is easier to predict the flow than it is to predict points in the outcome just because of goaltending. If you get the shots on, it doesn't matter who's in net because if the shots are going on goal, it doesn't matter if they save them or not. So those are good bets in my opinion if you think a team is going to come out with a hot start. Tonight we have 2 games on the docket. 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. You have the Hurricanes, who are actually road favorites slightly against the Rangers. And like I was saying last time I talked about these two teams, if there's a team that can reverse sweep, the Carolina Hurricanes are that team. They control the play. There's not been a singular game where you can say New York has been outright better than Carolina. Carolina has been neck and neck with them for games, but they've also been better than them in most games. Carolina could easily have this series tied 2-2. Carolina could even, in a different world, have been up 3-1 in this series. But the guy who's in the background, Igor Shesterkin, has prevented that. That's really the big difference. If you were to swap the goaltenders for each team, Carolina's probably winning this series in 6 games. But that's not the case. Igor Shesterkin's a New York Ranger. We then look at Dallas and Colorado, where Colorado, again, minus 142 favorite at home versus Stars. Hard to see Colorado losing 2 home games in a row. But the Dallas Stars are a battle-tested team, and nothing would shock me there with the Dallas Stars. Canes Rangers. I have 3 plays for this game. And as I said, it is easier to predict game flow than it is to predict results, which is why you don't see an over-under bet or even a money line bet or anything like that here. I just wanted to bet on the Carolina Hurricanes getting first to 5 shots. They've done this in every game this series. Hard not to do that. I feel like the over 5.5 is a good play as well. I trust that over more in Carolina than I do trust in New York, though. I feel like with last change, New York will be able to limit Carolina slightly more. I feel like with the home crowd, I think Igor Shesterkin might play a little bit better at home than he did on the road. Not to say he played bad on the road. I just think a little more juice in the building. I think he plays better in New York. Igor Shesterkin over 29.5 saves. I'd be shocked if Carolina doesn't put up over 30 shots. The only reason this prop or Igor's prop didn't hit last game, which I think he got 28, 29 saves last game, is because Carolina jumped out to a decent early lead with 3 first-period goals. Hard to see that happening. When the games are tight, Carolina takes over and shoots more. When the game goes a little more in Carolina's favor, they lock in a bit. So unless Carolina jumps out to an early lead like they did in Game 4, this Igor bet should hit. And even if they do jump out to early, they could still hit because Carolina dominates possession, throws pucks on net, up there with more so than maybe any other team outside of maybe Florida. And then the other one, the prop bet player pick, who I'm probably going to jinx again. This guy's on a 5-game point streak, and I've been really good about ending streaks. When I bet on a player, it's like he will have a 5 to 7 game streak. It will end. So Lafreniere, 5-game point streak. He scored in 7 of the last 8. He's been playing very good. Home ice in New York. I thought, why not at plus odds pick a guy who's been on a point streak. I kind of jumped out to me because it was at plus odds. So I think that's a good bet just because of the streak. That being said, I've been terrible about ending streaks. I hope that's not the case tonight, but we will see. One thing to say, too, all 3 of these bets can hit regardless of the outcome or the over-under. The Rangers could score 1 goal if Lafreniere's on it. Carolina could score no goals. They could still be the first to 5 shots, and they could still pepper Igor. Igor could let in 3-4 goals. He could still hit this mark. So that's why I like these bets, because they're kind of alive regardless of outcome. Then we go to because I don't really feel confident in the Canes on the road, if I'm being honest. But I feel confident the Canes are the better team game flow-wise, if you get what I'm saying. Av Stars, I don't like betting money line a ton, but I feel like with the Avalanche needing the win, they should get it done at home versus the Stars. Nathan MacKinnon, I was tempted to bet his props, but there's no value there. He needs to get over 1.5 points. He hasn't done that in the last 2 games. He is goal prop. He only has 3 goals in the playoffs through 8 games, which isn't bad. He could be due for a goal, especially if he pops up. Avalanche first to 5 shots. I expect the Avs to come out buzzing because there should be a big sense of urgency in that team to jump out to an early lead over Dallas, which they really haven't had the lead for much of any of these games. And then with the shots, I decided to do a little bit of a $10 plus 1,000 parlay here. I think Colorado gets some shots tonight, more so than the last few games. Over 3.5 shots for Cale Makar. He had done this 3 straight games up until the last game. Over 1.5 shots for Miles Wood. Last game was the first game he hadn't done that in 5 games. Valerian Nichushkin, over 2.5 shots. He hits this quite frequently. Miro Haskin, over 2.5 shots. He hit this last game. A little bit of a lotto ticket for $10 to win 110. But, that's just kind of how it goes when you pick 4th prop bets like this. Good chance it doesn't hit. But I was looking at the shots totals. I feel like Colorado should be shooting the puck a bit more tonight than they have in the last few games. So I thought there was some value with some prop bets, so I thought it might be just worth my while to throw $10. That being said, I'm not a big parlay guy as of late, just because the parlays, it seems like I get 3 of 4, so it wouldn't shock me. It might have been smarter to just pick 3 and hope that 2 of them hit for some profit, but I decided to test my luck a bit, which sometimes we do as gamblers. So those are my picks for tonight. Some other things just to touch on real quickly. It really is hard to see the Bruins going forward in this series beyond Game 5. They got a bit screwed over, in my opinion, yesterday on the Sam Bennett goal call where he cross-checks Charlie Coyle onto his goalie. Don't really understand why it wasn't overturned. A lot of the broadcast seem to not know either, so I don't think that's a homer take. And the Oilers, it's kind of like the Colorado situation. It's going to be hard to see the Oilers losing 2 home games in a row. That being said, I can guarantee you, I haven't looked at the lines, but there's probably not going to be a ton of value on Edmonton moneyline tomorrow, because I would imagine the public is going to be going hard on Edmonton, so that moneyline probably is going to get inflated. So if you were thinking of betting Edmonton tomorrow, you might want to bet on Edmonton today, just because that value is probably going to go down. It's probably going to tank. Just to give you an idea, I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, Edmonton's minus 205. Wouldn't shock me because of the numbers being bet on them. It might go to like minus 220. That being said, Vancouver plus 1.5 is minus 142. I'm going to stay away from that. I'm probably going to stay off of that game in terms of the outcome altogether, just because Vancouver's been playing very well. Edmonton is a very good team. and they should score tomorrow. So if I do bet anything on that game, it's probably going to be the first to 5 shots. I'll probably do the Edmonton team total again. I feel like with the way Edmonton played, there's a good chance they crack Chivas tomorrow. That being said, both those games are tomorrow, 7:10 p.m. for the Bruins-Panthers, 9:40 p.m. for the Canucks-Oilers, both Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to wrap up the video here, just to go over my picks real quickly one more time. Over 3.5 shots for Makar, over 1.5 for Wood, over 2.5 for Nichushkin, over 2.5 for Haskin. Colorado first to 5 shots, Colorado money line. Canes first to 5 shots, Igor over 29.5 saves, Lafreniere to continue his point streak. Those are the bets tonight, guys. Let me know your bets in the comments. Feel free to hit like and subscribe. Enjoy the hockey tonight. Bet responsibly, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next episode of Pat's Picks.